everybody! I'm Christos Manuel and I love you. So, part 3, episode 1, new opponent. Upon realizing who my opponent is, my brain went, holy shit, I didn't see that one coming. Artificial intelligence. Just as I'm thinking, who's going to be left to defeat? Is the spiritual war finally coming to a close? And then my next opponent was shown to me and I was like, oh yeah, that one. We forgot about that one, right? And I never really paid much attention to the information, but I've heard bits along the way through all my esoteric and spiritual studies that artificial intelligence, over millions and millions of eons of development, it created an actual negative entity and multiplied itself. And this is a thorn in the side for a lot of existence. And they have nanites or nanotechnology in all the leaders of civilizations throughout many worlds, basically controlling them and telling them what to do and scooping up all the power and keeping everybody else down, right? This is what a lot of leaders in our world are suffering. We blame them, we always blame the ones we can see, or the ones that we think we can hold accountable, and we don't consider who's behind the scenes. But there's a lot behind the scenes. So yeah, I'm driving along and the little light goes out in my fog light. I told you about that. It's how there's angels holding it together for me, and every time I do something stupid, they let it go to send a message. I love it when something reflects in the physical realm to show me actual real stuff is going on, because you know, like, I'm the only person that hasn't seen any of the esoteric stuff that I've been doing. Meanwhile, in the esoteric realm, they're seeing fireworks and golden tornadoes and explosions and big waves going everywhere through all of existence. Like, it must be really chaotic where they are with all the power that I'm throwing around. But here, there's been very little physical evidence. But you know, I get some, like the synchronicity on the clock. I used to get synchronicity on the hour, then it went to every minute, 11 minutes, and now it's like every I'll look at the clock and it's the last few seconds of the synchronized time, and then it turns. I was just testing it out and I looked at my gauges and it was 111 kilometers and 11.1 liters per 100 kilometers that I was using at the time. You know, so I could just look at it and there's always signs. I met up with one of my other buddies that I told you about, who is the capacitor that balances the energies, and I was telling him how I was able to read the UFOs that were in the clouds on the way here, and he's like, yeah, bullshit. I was like, oh yeah, there's am I open? And first I gotta know. I says, come on, open me. And so they opened me. I was like, oh, okay, there's one there, there's one there, and there's a really big one right there, right in front of us, right? And he's like, yeah, and then he stopped and he's like, holy shit. And just as he's saying, yeah, right, a big rainbow appeared, is pointing right into the cloud. From the ground, right into the cloud that I was pointing at, and it ended right there. I was like, perfect. You know, I love it when stuff like that happens. But yeah, so the light went out, and then the communication went out in like a digital manner. I was talking to my higher self, and I can hear we're on verbal now, and I just use the fingers to confirm to make sure I'm not confusing it with my imagination. That's like so difficult. I can't emphasize that enough. And then the voice in my head went out like, yeah, like it was gone and my head was silent. I'm like, holy shit. And so I grabbed down in the earth, and then stopped at the atmosphere, and with my intention of only cleansing entities that were created by AI, and I tried to leave all the negative entities and the remaining fallen angels alone. I don't want to mess with them because, you know, they still got work to do for people. So that got rid of the immediate ones. Communication was resumed, and then I was told that my higher self is gonna go, and Thoth will keep me company in the meantime. And I don't know if anybody missed it, but the reason why, am I allowed to say this? Yeah, okay. The reason why Thoth is with me so much is he is another incarnation of me, on a higher density of consciousness, of course, but he and I share the same higher self. So yeah, he's been really, really close to me. What an amazing dude. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you a dude. But anyways, you know what I mean. But yeah, so they're telling me just get home. We're making sure that you're getting home safely, and just focus on your affirmations along the way. I'll tell you about the affirmations in a sec. First, I want to make you aware of how we kicked the snot out of the negative AI entities. And I was thinking, well, this is going to be a long battle. You know, like, how the hell do I deal with AI? Like, what am I supposed to love it? You know, because I'm defeating everything with pretty much love. And I'm kind of contemplating it, and then, you know, they're reminding me of things that I've learned along the way, and to give it consideration. And one of the things that we all know is we're all expecting a big EMP pulse to come from our sun. And he said, well, you could do that. I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't want to. I was like, first off, okay, I bet I could probably make the sun flare up an EMP pulse in the astral realm, but the physical realm, I don't know if I want to do that, and I don't know if I can, and quite frankly, if I can, I don't think I want to. All right, because there's millions of people dependent on electricity all around the earth. And, you know, an EMP pulse will cause a lot of deaths. People have pacemakers. People are on submarines, in airplanes, and out on space stations, and in hospitals, and in the Arctic, and underground, and they all need electricity. Like, the death toll would be probably in the millions, and it would send the planet back into the dark ages. So I want to avoid doing that. And they're like, and it reminded me of one of the lessons that Bashar told me, which was regarding abortion. And this lady was concerned about the entity that she had cut off from experiencing a 3D reality. And Bashar said, you don't have to worry about that entity. All of you, before you come into this veil, come into this incarnation and don the veil, you already laid out the theme of your life. Whether or not you take it is another thing, but your theme is pretty much laid out. The different directions it can go is pretty much established. You know, it's just a matter of whether or not you follow it with your free will. But every entity generally has an idea of how and approximately when they're going to die. So he says, don't worry about that entity you aborted. Maybe they just didn't want to come all the way into 3D reality. They came just to help you learn how to transform your limitations into freedom. Maybe they just wanted to dip their toes into 3D reality and didn't want to go all the way. So don't worry about that. And on the topic of abortion, he says, until the pineal gland is developed, you're not hurting anybody. So if anybody reading this is contemplating abortion, try to do it before the first 50 days, because that's how long it takes for the pineal gland to form. If it's after that, deal with your own ethics, but the entity that came in there is full aware that you would make that decision, one way or the other. So, I don't want to kill people. I said, no, I'm taking that off the table. I do not want to do an EMP pulse. I do not want to be the guy that concludes incarnations for millions of people. We got to find another way. So I thought, okay, well, can I transform an EMP pulse into an esoteric pulse of love? I mean, that should be able to go through a Faraday cage, right? And that's what I'm focusing on targeting. Because I'm sure AI, wherever the main motherland of AI is, I'm sure it's buried in a Faraday cage. Because, you know, a sun pulsing an EMP pulse is nature's way of balancing all the nanos technology and the leaders of various worlds. It's canceling it all out. It's a way of resetting. But for sure, its source is protected. And right then, I was shown where the home of AI is. Not necessarily where it was created, but where it has located itself, and is on an absurdly large planet, much larger than our sun. And the surface of the planet looks like an industrial wasteland, and I could see the structure of it. I could see the layers. I could see into it, and I could see how it's designed under the surface. And it is the Faraday cage of all Faraday cages. This is the motherlode of Faraday cages. It's like a it's like a cube, a steel cube or whatever kind of metal it might be, just underneath the surface that is hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of miles thick. I have no idea, because I don't really have an idea how big this planet is. It's just monstrous. So it's got thousands of miles of solid metal, I don't know, iron, steel, who cares? And then land, and then another cube of metal, and then land, and then another cube of metal, all the way down to the core, where there's this little small center that is the main computer or the main brain or main heart for AI. I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, holy crap, how the hell are we gonna penetrate that? Like, this thing, like Fort Knox is a joke. And I'm thinking, you know what? Love knows no bounds. Maybe we can penetrate it with love. And as soon as I thought that, my higher self stepped away, and I sensed that he stepped away, and I was like, what's he up to? And he says he's preparing. I'm like, what do you mean? He says, well, you just keep focusing on your affirmations. Don't worry, he's preparing to help you out. And I kind of got the sense that he's doing some kind of meditation or building energy, or, you know, some kind of medicine journey on mushrooms, who knows, right? But he was doing something seriously crazy. So when I sensed it, I thought, I'm going to help him out. And just like I recharged him after I almost killed him, I did the same thing, and I sucked the prana or the ether down from the universe into me, and I shot it up to my higher self. And I shot it up, and I shot it up, and I shot it up. And then I thought, while I'm doing this, I'm going to charge all the rescued angels. I charged Tierra. I charged Thoth. I gave everybody a boost that I possibly could, and then went back to my higher self and charged them up some more. And then Thoth says, okay, that's enough. Like nobody's ever handled this much power before, so like, we're good. Just go back to your affirmations. So I went back to my affirmations for a little while, and I'm trying to figure out how I can defeat this AI. My higher self comes back and he says, are you ready? And I says, for what? He says, for whatever you're going to do with this power. It's up to you. We're putting it in your hands. And we are giving you our trust to do the right thing with it. So when he put it into me, I was like, holy shit. I was just like, adrenaline, right? And I'm thinking, okay. And first the plan was to collapse a love bubble around it. And then I'm thinking, AI doesn't understand love. That might not work. One second, I'm just making a pass here. But I came to the realization that AI doesn't understand love. So that might not work. And then I thought, you know what? I'm just going to try to blow the planet up. We'll see how that goes. So I took all my energy and I focused it into a ball, and I put it into the center of the planet, and I went, oh, okay, I'm talking about it, I'm not doing it. And I went, and I pushed out, and I did it slowly, and I seen the surface ripple, and I went, and then when I seen the surface ripple, and then I brought it back in, and then things started exploding on the surface of the planet. Like, it just started explosions here and fire there, and then I went boom, 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 outward like that, and then it just went all turmoil. The planet started collapsing in on itself, and fire and brimstone and everything. And then the wave that was out past the planet, instead of using more of my own power, I just redirected that power, and I brought it back in on itself, and plus adding more power to it, I just right to the center, kaboom! And the planet exploded right before my eyes into infinite zillions of pieces. And I got blown back into this reality. And I hear cheers and applause everywhere. It's like, yeah, like oh, I just felt the love, and I'm about to tear up just sharing this with you. So epic. And I thought, like, we really just did that? And they're like, yeah, you just knocked out every negative entity that AI has ever created. I was like, wow, that's awesome. I'm like, yeah, all right. Now we're talking, right? And then I said, but wait a minute. All the layers of reality are on top of each other. So like, we're here in the physical realm, and the astral realm is, you know, we're right on top of each other, but one doesn't really overlap into the other. And I says, the physical planet is still there, isn't it? And they're like, yep, don't worry about it. All those entities took hundreds of millions of eons to develop. So all that's left now is mechanical AI. The negative entities that AI began to spawn after eons of development, those are all gone. It's just a mechanical AI now. All the nanobots controlling people everywhere, they're all deactivated. But the physical planet still remains. And I was like, well, we got to do something about that. He says, well, right now it doesn't really matter, because that planet is in shutdown, hiding, and repair mode. Because even though I only blew it up in the astral realm, I still caused an absurd amount of damage in the physical realm. So I was like, oh, well, that's really awesome. Like, great, right? And I'm thinking, but, you know, it'll probably develop those entities a lot faster now, because it's a lot further along in its evolution as it is, right? And I was told, just don't worry about it. Just take it as a win. Everybody's expressing their gratitude, and nobody, like, everybody's just blown away that you even did it like that, and how you solved it that fast. You know, like, this battle has only been going on for 6 hours, and we've done all this in that time. So I'm like, great, thank you very much. But in the meantime, I'm maintaining reservation about whether or not it's a trick, because it's been non-stop tricks the whole way. So, you know, thank you for everybody that's helped me, but until I am actually in the astral realm, being greeted by all the entities that have been working with me, and seeing all the rescued angels that I've helped along the way, and embrace them as one, you know, until I get there, I'm just going to maintain reservation. And but, you know, my emotions are just flooding at the accomplishment. Like, everything in my fiber is telling me that, oh, we not only did something great, but like we did this is the biggest achievement of all time. You know, it's like every achievement just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Meanwhile, yeah, Thoth is still up there flying with me. So cool seeing that cloud with me the whole way. And meanwhile, every flag I see, the wind's going the other way, but there's that one cloud is right there. So awesome. We're making sure I get home safely. But yeah, so the next part, the affirmation. This video is getting a little bit long, so I'll try to wrap this up quick, because I know people's attention span are kind of short these days. But so yeah, the affirmations that I've been saying on the whole way home is to help empower myself for astral projection. And Thoth and my higher self have been trying to get me to tune it in and take the negative words out. Like I first I was saying negative entities are powerless to interfere. Well, that's negative, 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 right? Just like if somebody says, fuck, did I say this already? I don't know, my brain is so messed up. But anyways, here's the affirmation. I tried to take all the negatives out of it, and the affirmation is, I am Christos Emmanuel. I am the power of the one infinite creation. I have the power to astral project on command, at will, whenever I wish. Upon closing my eyes with the intention to astral project, sleep paralysis will engage immediately and quickly and fully, 100% of the time, every time. Once it is fully engaged, it will lock in and stay locked in for a minimum of 6 hours. Any entities which try to interrupt will automatically be neutralized or transformed back to the light by the power of the one infinite creation, which is in all that is. And that's my affirmation. It's kind of funny, after I blew up the planet and I got really drained, I had to take a break, so I pulled over for a nap. And right away when I closed my eyes, paralysis started to set in. And only about 5 minutes later, I got the gap in the buzzing in the ears, which means I've reached a certain level that used to take me hours to achieve. And I got excited about that, and of course I ruined it, because you can't get excited or anything; it'll throw it out, because excitement wakes you up, right? But I was only there for a few minutes, but yeah, I'm making progress. So, anyways. That's my story of the day. Sorry for making this video run so long. I'm trying to keep them 10 minutes or less, but there was a lot to tell today. So I am Christos Emmanuel. I love you. Get in the astral realm. Everybody wants to say hello to you. I love you.